Captain Cook's story started with his birth in the little town of Marton in Yorkshire, England. He was the second child in the family. Cook had a brief elementary education. In 1762, Cook married Elizabeth Batts, who survived him by 50 years. 3 of their 6 children died in infancy. The 3 sons who survived had all died by 1794. Captain James Cook started his career as a merchant coastal trader in coal. This animation shows him in charge of the loading of coal onto the Whitby coal ships.
James Cook, you have been chosen for your mapping and navigation skills and to lead a 3-year expedition around the world.
Thank you. It is an honour and I will do you proud.
Cook was given command as a lieutenant of the naval vessel Earl of Pembroke, which he renamed HMS Endeavour in 1768. His first expedition was to carry scientists to Tahiti to observe the transit of Venus. The main purpose of the voyage, revealed to Cook in a secret sealed letter, was to find the Great South Land. He then sailed to New Zealand and proved that the North and South Islands were not part of a larger mass of land. Cook then left for the unknown continent. He sighted it on the 25th day of January 1770. He proved New Guinea was not joined to Australia. He claimed possession of the coast and named it New South Wales and arrived back home after about 3 years.
Children?
Hi, Mother. Will Father be home soon? How are you going?
Fine, thank you, and his father will be home at any time now.
In the days of sailing ships, food supplies were salted or dried, or both. The crew's rations consisted of dry biscuits, salted beef, salted pork, dried and salted fish, cheese, wine or beer. The lack of a balanced diet was often compounded by the ships being infested with rats and worms. The best food the rats would eat, and they spoilt the rest with their droppings. Sailors often had to eat food riddled with worms. Captain Cook was successful in preventing scurvy. He kept stores of lemon juice, sauerkraut, malt, carrot marmalade and other concoctions, which the sailors were ordered to eat. The men at first refused, but when they saw that the officers had to share the rations, they grudgingly agreed, especially after they realised that scurvy was no longer a problem. Cook went on to map and name all he discovered.
At last, I have sighted Venus.
Late one night, while sailing up the coast of the unknown continent, his ship was hulled by the Great Barrier Reef. Cook instructed his men to cast off the heavy cargo and to pump the water out. Somehow they survived the ordeal and repaired the ship. King George III promoted Captain Cook for his good work from the first voyage. He was then sent on another voyage. Cook started on a second voyage in 1772 to investigate whether or not a continent extended from the South Pacific to the South Pole. Geographers had speculated on the existence of such a continent for hundreds of years. Cook made an important discovery on this voyage. He became the first person to sail across the Antarctic Circle and discovered the large island of South Georgia. His pioneer work led him to conclude that a frozen continent lay further south in the Antarctic. Later explorers proved him to be right. King George III was very eager to find a northern sea passage between Europe and Asia, so Cook was commissioned to command the journey to search for such a passage. This began in 1776. Cook proved that there was no direct water route from the Pacific to the Atlantic. He left England, sailed eastward around the Cape of Good Hope and reached New Zealand in 1777. After further exploration to find a northwest passage, Cook sailed back to what is now Hawaii, where he was killed by natives in 1779. The ship returned to England. Mrs. Cook was saddened to hear that her husband had died a year earlier. This has been the life story of Captain James Cook, from birth to death.